Good morning, everyone, and welcome to church on such a beautiful day. We're so glad you're here. We're going to start our service by singing our opening chant, One Life. We are all connected, a global family. There's no separation.
Oh, good morning. So glad that you are here. I am Reverend Sydney, and I am so happy to welcome you. If you are part of our in-house crowd, would you please silence your cell phones? And if you, I won't say you're part of our outhouse crowd, if you are live streaming on Zoom or YouTube, or I never know what's going to come out of my mouth. YouTube, Facebook, or Zoom, we are so glad that you are here too. So for those of us all together, let's enter that upper room of consciousness, whether it is here or somewhere else, let's turn within. How wonderful to know that we come together in collected recognition of the infinite presence and power of God, that which we call spirit, which is truly flowing through us, surrounding us, defining us, and divining us. It is that which is both source and substance, and is that which is the author of all life. We allow ourselves to know the truth about who we are and who God is. And that as creations of spirit, we are one with the Creator and one with each other. And it is from our shared divinity that I speak my word now for each of us, knowing that we are available to God. We are available to wisdom. We are open and receptive. And that which we need to hear today, we absolutely do. And I bless Reverend Mark, Dr. Mark, knowing that that infinite intelligence of God is absolutely inhabiting him fully. And he is easily and wonderfully able to express that which wants to be expressed by means of him. I know that the music serves to lift us up, to shift us into that place of availability, and I bless the technology that allows us to reach so many divine beings. So how wonderful to know that all of this is already a perfect idea in the mind, the heart, the soul, the very fabric, the tapestry that is God. I am grateful, and I release this word into law, knowing it is so. And so it is, and together we say, Amen.
I
would you please rise and join me in saying the Lord's Prayer? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Please remain standing for our congregational song, I Am at Home in the Heart of God.
Yes. Oh, and so as we are seated and we settle in, please take a moment to wave at that camera right over there where Terry is and say hello to our live streamers. Welcome them. And then offer a loving silent namaste to the people around you as well. Thank you so much. All right, so now we're just going to take a moment and we're going to turn within. We're going to meditate together for 5 minutes. The power of collective spiritual practice is that which we celebrate in this room at this time, and how wonderful to know that we can each breathe into that divine space within. If you find that your mind wanders, just allow yourself to silently repeat the mantra, God is the love that I am. And I will bring us back and out of that meditation in 5 minutes.
taking in that rainbow, across that picture-perfect sky, while you're lying in the tall grass, watching weightless clouds go by. 'Cause I am drawing treasure to you like the waves draw to the shore, to let you know I could not love you more. Are you bathing in the sunshine? Are you soaking up the rain? Are you reveling in laughter? Or are you pausing in the pain? 'Cause I am loving you completely, whether you thrive or just endure. Remember that I could not love you more. I don't need your faith, I don't need your praise. My peace depends only on how you set your gaze, and I am busting out all over to show you how much you're adored, and let you know I could not love you more. Oh, it's everywhere, in protest or in prayer. When you're happy or you're sad, if you're peaceful or stark raving mad, if you're sober or you're high, if you know for sure or you question why, in frustration and in fun, no matter who you've been or what you've done, at your death and at your birth, at your best and at your worst. Remember that I could not love you more.
Good, Margaret. Nice. Okay, good morning. I thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to talk a little bit today about Adam and Eve. This is a story I really liked when I was a kid. I was just fascinated by the whole idea of a garden somewhere that was paradise. So let's think a little bit about what do we know about Adam and Eve. Well, they live in the Garden of Eden. This is a paradise. Everything is well. All is well. That's the whole point of paradise, right? Is that all is well. Oh, that sounds so good. But there's a snake. There's a snake. There's always a snake, isn't there? There is this snake in the garden, and that's going to be a problem, seemingly, down the road. But I want you to know, I have a little bit different interpretation of this story. I have not even the traditional metaphysical interpretation. You know, for us in Science of Mind, we always take a story from the Bible, if you read a story from the Bible, and say, okay, how does this apply to me? How is this in my life today? So it's not about Adam and Eve thousands of years ago, like they were real people, and maybe they were, and probably not, and how would we know? And but the point is that, you know, there are creation stories, creation myths, creation tales that show up all around the world, and this is one of them. In fact, in the Bible, there's actually that first story of creation, you know, and on the first day God created this, and then he created that, and that's great. But then here's this whole other take on creation. So in the Garden of Eden, what I want to point out and what really stands out for me this time around is that there are two trees in the Garden of Eden that are very important. There is the tree of life. You know, the tree of life, this shows up in lots of things around the world. But there's also the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Now, what I love about the story that I think is so great, is so interesting, is it says that God gave Adam dominion over everything that was in the garden. So this isn't about control, but I believe it is about having authority over. It's about having charge over. And so, so that sounds like a pretty good thing. Like, okay, this is the garden, and I have dominion over all that's in the garden. So the idea is that this is supposed to be paradise. But the problem with paradise, I'm going to ask you to take a little look at your own life and see if this is so, that sometimes when things are going really well, it does not give us the impetus to push to move forward, does it? Like, can I just enjoy this time when things are going really well? Can I just enjoy that everything's quiet right now after the holidays? Can I enjoy right now? But it's not that quiet. I was walking my dog last night, and pre-COVID traffic is back. I was absolutely, it's like, oh my God, this is just like before COVID. So I think people are trying to, get back to some kind of normalcy. But Adam has dominion over everything in the garden. This means, I believe, for us as metaphysical spiritual students, that we are supposed to have dominion over how we respond to everything that shows up in our life. So somebody comes into our life and we have dominion. And what I mean by dominion is we don't have control over that person. We have control over how we interact and respond and react with, how we choose to engage, hopefully in a conscious way, with that individual. So remember, so paradise, it's all good, and yet it's static. I've thought about this a lot, and I thought, when things are going really well in my life, it's not usually the kick in the butt I need to move forward in a new direction. Right? So the serpent now, this wonderful character of the serpent, entices Eve to eat fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Wow, the one thing they're not supposed to do. So you know what this is like to me? This is just like when they say, whatever you do, whatever you do, do not think of a big pink elephant. And I see dancing elephants, I see tutus, I see Fantasia, but lots of pink. Don't think of a pink elephant, don't think of a pink elephant. And I think of all the pink elephants I've known. There are just pink elephants everywhere. My life is imploding with pink elephants. So what the serpent says to Eve basically is, surely you're not going to die. Now, Eve, I want to talk about the metaphysics, the metaphysical interpretation in the Bible. That Eve represents, I believe, the feeling and desire to have life experiences. Not just to be alive, but to have greater experiences in life. And I think we want involvement in life through our consciousness. We want our consciousness to lead us into greater and greater experiences of life, greater experiences of health, greater experiences of love, greater experiences of creative expression. Absolutely. So this is us in the science of mind today. We believe if we work on our spiritual consciousness, if we uplift our consciousness, if we avoid all those things we know we should avoid, like talking bad about ourselves or life or other people and complaining, if we do that and we focus on the goodness in life, then this work we do on our consciousness by praying and meditating and studying, serving, tithing, forgiving, practicing gratitude, that everyone and everything will lift up and have a better experience of life if we approach it in a conscious way. And now, what do I mean by a conscious way? In a way that's spiritually principled, in a way that does not violate spiritual law, in a way that is not intentionally hurtful to ourselves or other beings. I believe that when we have a little divine discontent, see, and I hold that Eve must have had some discontent, because she was in paradise. Everything was good. I mean, imagine, what would that be for us? Well, the fridge is full. My favorite shows are always on with no commercials. My neighbor's not blocking my garage. All these things contribute to our, we all have our own unique version of paradise here. Right? So I believe that when we have this divine discontent that Eve must have had, that is God prompting us, pulling us to move, to take a step, to take action. And Eve does this. But what Eve has to do, that I find so often we are not willing to do, is Eve makes a decision. Eve makes a choice. And that choice is, well, okay, yeah, here we are in the garden. It's all good. But have you ever had that little voice in the back of your head that says, but I think there's more? I think there's more. Can this possibly be it? Is this all there is? Very Peggy Lee of Eve, don't you think? Is this all there is? But I think that's God prompting us. It's the Spirit within prompting us, saying, you know what? There's more. If you would only make a decision, if you would only consider possibly taking some action. Now, again, I want to go back to what it says in the Bible. God hath said, you shall not eat it or touch it, or you shall die. Now, I don't think that this is about if Adam and Eve eat this piece of fruit, they're actually going to die and the bodies will be there in the garden. That's not it. You know, if you don't want to die in the current state, in the current realm, in the current level of consciousness in which you exist, then don't eat this. But if you are going to eat this, then you're going to take on the consequences, right? Because that's what we teach, action, reaction. For every time we put something out there, the universe gives us something back, right? So if you eat this fruit, there will be consequences, which will be death to this type of paradisical, is that a word? Paradisical? Existence. Okay, but you know what I mean. So, not God will kill us if we eat. They wouldn't have eaten. Surely they wouldn't have eaten, right? They would not have eaten if they really thought that God would kill them. So they eat, and what happens is their eyes are opened. Now, in the opening of the eyes, what they see, remember, because this is the tree of knowledge of good and evil, is now they can see that there is separation, that there are opposites, that there's God and. Up until this point, everything's good, right? They're in the garden, they're in paradise, everything is hunky-dory, but they eat the fruit, and now they have the eyes to see through the lens of separation, right? Separateness. So Eve is the first woman presented in Genesis. But this is, I don't think there's any justification for believing that these are the only two people at the time. Eve is all the female components of our life, right? Because everybody in the Bible exists within us. And so what Eve is representing is our ability to feel, right? And Adam represents metaphysically the ability to think. And so together, Adam and Eve represent the ability to think and the ability to feel. It's all potential because we're in Eden. They're not actually doing much thinking or feeling up until this point because everything is so great in paradise, right? So they have not tasted yet any knowledge, but once they have this fruit. Okay, so is the fruit an apple or is it a pomegranate? This is what I want to know because commercials nowadays intimate that it is a pomegranate, and I think that's very interesting. It's probably actually much more likely that it was a pomegranate, but anyway. They have not tasted any knowledge. They have no knowledge of good and evil up until this point, right? I think that's so interesting. Like everything is good all the time. But that's boring. It's a little boring, right? So they eat the fruit and they're expelled from the garden. Now, I would say up until now, I had always thought that that was a bad thing, that they were expelled from the garden. But this is good news, because what this means is we are not puppets controlled by an external deity, that we have free will, we have choice, how we choose to live, how we choose to express, how we choose to experience. So in the idea of Adam and Eve being, expelled from the garden, what happens is, and this is, see, I think Eve has gotten a really bad rap for thousands of years, and they've been blaming Eve and women, and I want to set everybody free on this. Now, this is going to piss a lot of guys off, but I'm going to set everybody free on this because Eve ate the fruit. That is what started humanity. That means everybody on the face of the earth. That's what started humanity on its own evolutionary spiritual journey. If Eve had not eaten the fruit, everybody would just be bored and stuck, I believe. We would not be evolving in a conscious way. So it is because of Eve that we now have the freedom to evolve and grow and heal and expand our consciousness on a daily basis, because she made a choice for us to not be stuck in this paradise situation and for us to experience what was right for our soul to experience. When I teach class, we often talk about kingdoms of consciousness, and that first kingdom of consciousness is where we feel like a victim. We're concerned with the collective, the herd mind. And I think Adam and Eve, initially in the garden, it's like they're actually in kingdom 1. I say that because in kingdom 1, in that early level of consciousness development, we don't have any free will. We don't have any choice. There's no individual self at this time because the group does the thinking for us, you know? If you want to know more about that, you got to come take class with me. But as we move up in consciousness, only an individuated I am consciousness can choose something better for itself, can make a different choice. So Eve, breaking out of the garden, becomes an individuated consciousness. You know, she has her own center. Her own I am is what's guiding her and leading her to make a decision. This is really important for our spiritual growth and evolution. It's essential. So yes, the garden was great, but there was not a lot of growth there. You know, and that's what we are here for, really. If you think about it, what did I come here for? Not to mark time, not to hang out, not to just wait for, I don't know, this, that, or the other, that we came here to grow. And I believe that we came here as students of science of mind to grow in our awareness of love's presence, love that's everywhere, in and through all people, all things, all traditions. But in the serpent, I think we've really seen the serpent as bad. But the serpent actually was really, really helpful to humanity's spiritual journey. You know, that this was essential. So maybe our divine discontent is pulling us forward to a better life, to a greater experience of God, to a greater experience of love. See, because again, this idea that is so important is that only an I am. Only an I am. Now, in the Old Testament, the I am is always for group consciousness, right? So when I look at the story of Adam and Eve, the I am that's present there in Eve and Adam is for humanity to start to make a movement forward. In the New Testament, Jesus shows us that the I am is individuated. And this is what happens in us in our spiritual journey, that we have a strong enough I am presence within ourselves that we know what's right for us and we know what's wrong for us. We know where we're headed, we know where we're not headed. We know what's a good choice, we know what's not a good choice. So only an I am, an individuated consciousness, can choose better. And so I would ask you to think about this today, that if in my life, when things have been going really, really well, I don't know if this is you, it could be, or maybe somebody you know, do I stir the pot when things are going really well? You know, or maybe you know somebody who does. Or do I have this discontent within me when things are going really well, I'll sort of upset the apple cart in some way? I think that that's just an interesting thing to notice about ourselves, because I think that what's always trying to happen is that presence of spirit within us, which is what we are, the spirit that we are, is always trying to express in life, have a greater expression, a greater experience of life. And how that happens is by us stepping it up and making a choice. Now, I know the reason we don't want to make a choice is we're so afraid we're going to make the wrong choice. Oh my God, I can't tell you how often I talk to people and I say, so what are you going to choose? What do you choose to do? And they say, oh, I can't choose, I can't choose, I can't choose. And I always say to people, do you realize that not choosing is also a choice? In not choosing, you are making a choice. And that choice is that I will stay still and let life happen all around me and hope that it works out. Well, you know, the problem with that is that all of that life working out around you is interested in itself, not interested in you. You know, so if you don't make we have the capacity, because we are an individuated consciousness, we have the capacity to make a choice for our greater good. The problem is if you let the world around you make the choices for you, they will not always, they will almost never make a choice for your greater good. Because that's not how it happens, right? You know, we think that something outside of us like politics and the government are going to fix things. But you know, things out here cannot, we teach this. This is basic to science of mind. Things out here in the world cannot be fixed till we are fixed in here. If we want the world to be better, we have to be better. We want the world to be loving, we have to be more loving. We want the world to be forgiving, we have to be more forgiving. This is the hard part of science of mind, isn't it? It's like, oh my God, everything I see on TV, I have to go, oh, where does that live in me? Where does that? So that's why some days I just don't even want to turn on the TV. You know, because I think all of that lives in me. All of that lives in me in some way. You know, so when I see this, people being very agitated and disrupted on TV about this, you know, about anything, it doesn't matter what it is, I have to look and say, do I get on that bandwagon? Does that live in me? And if it lives in me, is that really going to serve me? Is that going to make the world a better, brighter, more loving place? If it is, hey, terrific. And if it's not, I want to be aware of that. So, Adam and Eve, not the Eve you thought of. I think that Eve is responsible for humanity's spiritual evolution. The reason we have made progress in the last number of thousands of years is because of Eve, and we should all be grateful to her. Let's pray. All right, so we'll turn our attention inward for a moment now, just recognizing that we are surrounded and filled with God's infinite loving Spirit. That this Spirit is all-powerful, it's all-knowing, it's everywhere present, it's right where we are. And that each and every one of us, we are emanations of the Most High God. That Spirit of God that creates the entire universe out of itself is right within us, right here, right now. We are one with it. That Spirit of God within us is the most true, most real thing about each and every one of us. And so I speak the word for us today. That here we are in our own garden, and we are being offered an opportunity to burst forth into newness in some way. And I don't know what that newness is for you, but I'm pretty certain that it's being offered, because Spirit's always offering us an opportunity to expand. And so I know within the heart mind of our own being, we know what's right for ourselves to do. We just check within, and I know that that guidance comes from that place of the highest and best within us. So you could say it's the Spirit of God, you could say it's the love within me, you could call it the Christ within me. Whatever you call it, I know that guidance is coming from that highest and best place. And so if we have a challenge, if we have a problem, if we have a concern, I know that Spirit within us already knows what we need to know, and we make ourselves available to it. We don't try to impose any answer on it or any direction. We just allow ourselves to be open, willing vessels for Spirit's direction, for Spirit's instruction, for Spirit's guidance. And we welcome it fully and completely. I am certain that the path ahead for each and every one of us is light, not dark, that path includes greater love and greater healing, greater peace, greater needs met, greater contribution to the world. And so we include in our prayer today our family members and friends and parents and children, all of those that we love and hold near and dear. We see them in our mind's eye, and we wrap our spiritual arms around them. We know that they are blessed, that all of their needs are provided for, that they are peaceful, happy, joyous, and free. We let our prayer be a blessing for the world that we live in. So everything that's pulled at our attention this week, everything that looks discordant or not as it should be, we see that situation in our mind's eye, and we draw a bigger circle around it. And that bigger circle is the energy, the power, the presence, the principle of God itself. And so we know that all of that takes place within the infinite mind of God, and therefore only good can come from it. Only good can come upon all people involved. So we declare that peace is the order of the day. We bless our church, we bless all churches, synagogues and temples and mosques and ashrams, all paths to God. And I'm certain that we are blessed by being together, that there is a raising up, there is a healing for each and every one of us, and we welcome it. So with a full heart, I say thank you, God, that this is so. I release this word into law, and so it is. Together we all say, amen. All right, we'll sing one time together.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. grateful. I am so blessed.
All right, I invite you to hold your gift over your heart and we'll say our statement of giving together. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and belief. It does good work in the world and returns to me multiplied abundantly. Thank you very much.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. So blessed, I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
May my thoughts fly away like petals on the wind, and may my breath rise and fall with the tide. May I stand secure in myself again, my spirit naked with nothing to hide. Let me know you in this garden. Let us be separate no more. Let me rest here in this oneness as I never have before. Winding path that my mind will wander can lead me from this place, and I forget that the trail you left me is found on every face. I stumble out here unsure alone till I remember and find my way home. Let me know you in this garden. Let us be separate no more. a seedling springs forth from the ground. I ask your spirit from me to abound. Let me know you in this garden. Let us be separate no more. Let me rest here in this oneness as I never have before. Let me know you in this garden as you bloom from every tree and you sing from every creature and you radiate through me.
Well, we are grateful to our music team, our soloist, Margaret Owens, and by the way, our media team. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We're very grateful. And if this is your first time here at our garden, see what I did there? We're very glad that you were able to join us. We have all sorts of information as you go out those doors and go around to the left. We have a welcome table with packets for those of you who are newcomers, and we invite you to take one of those packets. You'll get more information about who we are, what we teach, and what's going on here. You can make donations to this church through our text to give number. There's a QR code on your bulletin, and you can also go to our website, which is nhcrs.org/give. Prayer with a Practitioner is available after this service. There will be a bunch of them up front here, and so we invite you to come up and get some really, really wonderful, we call it a 1-minute miracle. And if you are online, hop over to Zoom. We have practitioners there, and they will do the same thing and support you and know the truth of who you are. This Wednesday is our Taizé service with Joanne O'Brien. It's going to be so beautiful. It starts at 6:50 for meditation. Well, we're just dropping all sorts of stuff here. Service is at 7. Please join us for a wonderful evening of meditation and prayer, of chanting, and food, because there's a potluck, so bring your favorite dish to share. Our youth and family ministry, by the way, supports kids all the way up to teens. So if you'd like more information about that, there's information on the table, and they meet every Sunday at 9:45 in the junior church. We have a new group starting this afternoon, with one of our practitioners. It's called the Good Gossip Club. And this is with Nikki Zavara. There's information out there. It's at 1 o'clock in junior church. This is a group that absolutely will only tell you the spiritual truth, and they'll only say that about you to other people, not the negative. Good gossip. So hopefully you will join us. We are having a membership class tomorrow night with Dr. Mark and with myself, 7 to 10 p.m. here in person. It is free, and it's an introduction to the religious science philosophy, and it is required if you want to join this church. I hope that you consider doing this. It's wonderful to be a member of this church because we are a great community. I like us a lot. So new members who take this class receive a $25 off certificate to use for our next foundational or Beyond Limits class. So you can sign up online or on the patio. We have a goal-setting workshop that's happening on Saturday, the 14th of January, which is this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12:30-ish. And it's it's in person, and Dr. Mark will present this amazing workshop, and I really, really hope you'll come, because you get to set goals for this new year, learn creative visualization, and make your own vision board. Step into the highest and greatest version and vision of your life. It's $40. It's going to meet here again in person. You can find out, guess where? Out there. Circle of Healing with Mary Catherine O'Hart is Sunday, January 15th at 1 p.m. in the sanctuary. And I am starting a new foundational class on, when am I starting at? Tuesday, January 17th. It is called Beyond Limits. And this is where we go, ah! And this dynamic class teaches science of mind principles and how to use spiritual law to create and celebrate the life you want. Beyond Limits will anchor you powerfully in meditation and affirmative prayer. The total cost is $245. Now we're doing this in 2 parts. 5 weeks, couple weeks break, 5 weeks. So $245 or 2 installments of $135 due week 1 and week 5. We are doing this class in person. I hope that you will join us. Our Creative Arts Ministry, facilitated by Mark Kroll, will have its first event, God's Open Mic Night, on Friday. When is it? January 20th, 7 to 9 p.m. in the sanctuary. You can sign up on the patio. We are collecting new and gently used clean blankets for the homeless. We are going to start having that red bin out there, so please bring those blankets. We need them. Now, we have an ask. This is a big ask. Well, it's actually not a big ask. It's just one I know you're going to fulfill immediately. We need 2 new or gently used clean armchairs for our nursery. If you know how that when you hold a baby or a toddler, it's so much easier when you're in a comfortable chair and you have padded arms, right? So if there's something you are releasing, please see me, all right? Bali trip. Dr. Mark is taking a group to Bali. In the fall, September 5th through the 15th, 2023. God, we're already in 2023. So you can get an information brochure and the Sacred Covenant. It's on our website and at the welcome table. Zoom virtual patio, before and after our Sunday and Wednesday services. Zoom meditation every morning, Monday through Saturday from 7:55 to 8:15 a.m. By the way, all of the links are on the website. You can go right to that first opening page, click on the link, and you'll be where you need to be. And that's NHCRS.org. And you can get more information, sign up for our e-blasts and our newsletters, and I'm going to just stop talking now. You start talking.
Good job. Let's stand and we'll sing.
Let's bring our practitioners up.
So please repeat after me. I'm at home in the heart of God.
I'm at home in the heart of God.
My life is anchored in truth.
My life is anchored in truth.
I can never be separate.
I can never be separate.
I live in the consciousness of peace.
I live in the consciousness of peace.
I release all fear.
I release all fear.
I am living love.
I am living love.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.